No, see,
No.
the internet in this area keeps going out
Oh,
because of that. Remember that stupid car crash that happened over there on South Sheridan?
right.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and they've had that shit going off and on all fucking day. So, God, I think we're lucky to get what we got. So anyway, the as I said in the previous video, the Black Widow, she goes down, she stays there. Try putting that on the floor so you don't bump the table every time you do that. And that will, or you don't accidentally spill it, then hope it goes on the laptop. And well, that's the end of that live stream, folks. Have a good night. So that would be my favorite, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely not a fan of the 6R, but hey, whatever.
I think that it does better than you think it does.
Yeah.
You're biased because you only like power. Like if it doesn't have 12 ERP PCs, the heat sinks to fire it, 18 tons armor and 48, fucking heat sinks on it or some shit. You're not into it. Ah, it's bullshit. So okay. What is your favorite way to play Battletech? Same guy. Classic, Alpha Strike, RPG, campaign, historical scenario, or something else? 1v1 or multiplayer?
That's a lot of options, but how about if I
Or
go?
go down the list then.
Right, okay, well, I prefer classic over alpha. Um, I prefer multiplayer over 1v1, but 1v1 is fine, but I would, if more players, better. And campaigns are great. I love campaigns. But, I mean, I'll play a game about any kind of game about tech pretty much. So that, campaign or not, that doesn't really that important. But
Okay, so let's see. For me, my favorite way to play is classic, but I love Alpha Strike for what it can do for me. I was just telling somebody this the other day on Twitter. It's like, look, if I need a big time ending to a narrative campaign, it's there for me. I can't play that game in Classic. That game in Classics would take me, if I were to just do company on company, something actually decent sized, that would take me all day and I still wouldn't finish. We'd have to do that in probably 2 sessions.
right,
Even like the fastest players would probably be struggling to get it done in a single day. So if I need something like on that scale, then I know I can turn to Alpha Strike and it will be there for me. So I don't hate it. I don't necessarily say that I prefer one over the other. It just depends what I want to do, I guess. And if I'm like, okay, well, this isn't a big game, this isn't a huge deal. Let's play classic because then we can get a little bit more involved and we can make more strategic decisions and things like that. Or this is, some big time game where I've got a crap ton of dudes on the table and I got to get this done in 4 hours at the game shop. Then I'll go for Alpha Strike. Let's see, historical scenario or something else. I prefer to write my own, um, because then that way I'm the one who's in control of the variables and I know what I'm going to be putting. And I'll usually always play the bad guys. I don't care. It doesn't bug me, but I like to write them and then just kind of tweak them, play test them. Oops, that was a little too strong. Let me walk it back a little bit. And every once in a while, like if I'm just pressed for ideas and I can't think of anything, I'll whip out one of those old Fourth Succession War scenario books, or First Strike, or Tales of the Black Widow. I did that before for the show. And I'll run one of those. Those are nice every so often. It just, they always feel like it's very difficult to win. Why are the Ghost Bears so amazing, Tuck? Well, maybe it has something to do with their football skills. Their considerable love for the pigskin could be it. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff?
um, what if I disagree with the premise?
Oh, listen to Mr. Jade Falcon over here.
How about if I just disagree with the premise altogether?
How about I take this fork and stab you in the eyes? No, I like them. They're my second favorite. The first is the Jade Falcons, obviously, and of course I'm wearing Natasha on my shirt. But yeah, the Jade Falcons are my favorite, and then the Ghost Bears. But it's like very close, extremely so. What?
I could go along with that. I mean, I'll put Ghost Bear second, but yeah, definitely J Falcon goes first.
And let's see. Got another, but this is a private message. This one wants to remain anonymous. So, what is your favorite tactic to use in when you're playing? Whether, I guess they didn't specify Alpha Strike or Classic, they just said what's your favorite tactic. So I guess
I don't play tactics. Unfortunately, it's to my detriment. I am quite certain, but
you don't play tactics.
yeah.
Wow! Beep. News flash! Holy shit! Let me get on the horn to fucking NASA.
You ever actually watch me play, or you see any of the videos where I am one of the players, you will not see very many tactics. Oh well.
Steve said, or Bear says, everyone's entitled to be wrong, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, frequently is. Okay, so my favorite, God, I got so many different. Here's the thing. I'll talk to you about tactics, I guess. When I was growing up in the 90s.
Didn't you do one of your tabletops on tactics?
I did a Tux table talk about basically keeping your head together while you're playing Battletech, yeah. The one that I really want to do is Zen and the Art of Modern Battle Mech Operations, but I really got to think about how I want to write that one. That's going to take me some time. I'm sure Riley Centrella will be like, hey, by the way, I need your thing by the 13th or the 18th or whatever it is. And they're like, crap, let me write something else. Can I make an article real fast about how the rifleman isn't as good as everyone just seems to think it is, but that's okay? It's okay to be like, this is bad. It has uses anyway. It's broken but still functional. Like me. Okay, where was I? Tactics. So when I was growing up, the thing is I played at this game shop called Dwarf Mountain Games when I was a kid.
Yay, Dwarf Mountain.
Oh, you remember Dwarf Mountain Games?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you do or don't remember from back home. All I know is you remember Game Empire, Game Empire, and you remembered Ghost, and you remembered Sledge, and Tom and Nadine. Did you know this motherfucker was actually in like a Battle Force magazine? Didn't even fucking know it. Yeah. He was in a Battle Force. His name was printed in a fucking Battle Force magazine as like a tournament winner, and it was in there for like 20 fucking years. You had no idea until a fan of the show who just happens to live here in town gave me a copy of it, and I'm just browsing through. I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm just looking at it because I think it's cool, right? More Battletech, why not? And I get to the fucking end of it, and then it's like Jeff Snyder had a blah diddly bling blah, and I'm like, are you fucking shitting me right now? And then I looked through the rest of the article, and it was a Game Empire, and remember, everything just fit. And I'm like, there's no way that this is any other motherfucker except this guy. And then I showed it to him, and he's just like, oh, how cool. Yeah, never knew. The whole fucking time.
Nobody told me. I mean, you could have, let me know I was in the thing.
Well, I'd have been like, oh, man, it came out. Let me see the report. Let me see what they did. I want to see what they said. Did they not tell you that there was going to be a magazine?
No.
Man.
I don't even know who the author of the piece was.
It was Nadine.
Oh, yeah. She never told me. Not to my knowledge.
Okay, story time. So back in the fucking day, we used to play at. I'll get to my tactics later. This is a better story.
Veer off course.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Anyway, we used to play back at fucking Game Empire, right? Xander, amateur football champs for one. Awesome paint scheme as well. Yes. They're talking about the Ghost Bears. I like the Ghost Bear Alpha Galaxy myself. So we used to play at Game Empire back in the day. It's still there. It's just in a different location now. And anywho, we used to play with this couple, and it was like the oddest couple you'd ever seen in your life. She was like real short. He was super tall. It was, I don't know, man. They just looked not like people you would expect to be a couple, but they were. And they were the ones who ran Battletech down there at the time, which is how I got my feet wet in the local tournament scene after I'd been taught by my friend in his garage, which I think is where I met you. At one of these Battletech gimmicks?
At the table with Tom and Nadine.
Yeah, because I know it wasn't Magic. It was Battletech.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And this is in 1997, you
Yeah.
know. And anyway, yeah, these two were a fucking pair, man. They were something else. And, and I don't know. I stopped coming around there after so long, but you got to play with them more often than I
Right.
did. So, what would you use to balance against the Daiichi A? I'll circle back around to that. So that's where I learned a bunch of crap. The point is that when I was growing up, these people, they would teach me tactics, but they had different names for them. That's not what, if I said it to somebody else, I know what that means, but they don't know what that means because they weren't there when it was taught, and so it doesn't make any sense. But when I say things like I'm going to park them and bark them, and that's the tactic where you stand somebody up on a hill, on an elevated hill like this, right?
Right.
And then what you do is you're shooting them down there, and you just hang. Let's say you got like an awesome here, and then over here you got, let's say, a salamander,
Right.
and they're just like PPC LRMs from way on top of the fucking hill, and knock those dudes out downfield. That's park them and bark them. I like that.
That's good.
I like the flying V because, like, okay, if you take your forces and you set them up like this at the beginning of the fight, and you're going this way, no matter what way your opponent goes, you can just either go this way or that way. It doesn't matter. You're covered from essentially all angles, and if you are ballsy enough and you can play chicken with them long enough and you keep going, somebody will break one way or the other, and then no matter which way they go, you will have somebody there to either come up on their side or meet them where they're at. So that's one of my favorite things to do because you can almost set your watch to, yeah, no, go that way or that way. So that's a good one. What's another favorite of mine that you've seen me use a lot? I don't do the Kansas City Shuffle that much. That's only once in a blue moon.
That was a new one.
Well, yeah, but that's about how often I use it because little things like that. So yeah, those are my answers to that one. What would you use to balance against the Daiichi A? Jesus fuck, I don't know.
Fight against it?
Yeah, to balance, not fight against it. Like that's how I take that question.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on what.
Like something that is similar to it.
Oh.
In battle value. Hey Brian, evening and happy New Year. See you soon, sir. I'm just kicking it. Yeah, that's how that sounds to me. Bear, is that what you mean? Like, how do you balance against it? As in, what would you take to be on the same level?
Oh, the same side.
No, as in like you have 5,500 battle value to spend. I have 5,500 value to spend. But in this case, it's as much as one Daiichi A that I have. Okay. Now what do I do? Like, what do I put if I'm trying to get the most battle value out of that? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. See, he understands what I mean. Okay. He knows what I'm talking about. I mean, okay, Jeff, let me ask you this. To answer this question, I will have to ask you a question. Which is meaner, the Direwolf A or the Direwolf Widowmaker?
I have changed my mind.
You guys chime in too. I don't care.
I have changed my mind. Maybe recently. I don't know.
What?
But it would have to be the A, being the superior model of the Daiichi. I have seen it do things in fights.
Incredibly evil things.
Right.
So. Okay. Because the reason I asked you, what do you think is meaner, is because if you said the Widowmaker, then I'd say, okay, well, we all know that guy up there on the wall, the Warhawk C, can beat the Widowmaker. Right. So that's what I would take. Right. And I would just adjust my gunnery and piloting skill thusly to figure that out. But okay, if you're saying the A is worse, I think the Tomahawk is overkill. I think that's way too much. Oh, God, that's tough.
That's another one of my favorites.
It's very good.
I would go with a Turkina. I mean, there's several really good variants of Turkina.
You don't mean to...
but, I mean...
You're not talking about the variant of the Turkina with all the pulse lasers on it, are you?
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly what all the different variants. I just know that as a platform, the Turkina is a very good platform for weapons and would be a good counter to facing a Daiichi.
Well, I only ask you because, and here's the part where I get to reveal the end of the season news, because I was going to come around to this anyway, but now that you bring this up, I figure this is as good a time as any. So the season finale for season 3 is going to be Ill Clan. It's going to be the fight for Terra, Clan Wolf versus Clan Jade Falcon. And actually in that fight, I took a Daiichi A, and there was also a Turkina on the other side, and it was the all pulse laser variant of the Turkina. What I was going to say is, in that fight, I had a Daiichi A and I had a Blood Asp. I want to say A as well. It's the one with the 2 PPCs on it. I think it's got like 2 Gauss, 2 PPCs. I think it's stupid. And so if it were me, that's what I would take. The Blood Asp A or B, whichever the one that has the Gauss and the 2 PPCs on it. Because at the very least, you got 60 damage you can throw all the time. And the Direwolf it can throw 30, 45 until it gets in close. And then those SRMs do the damage. But from a distance, you got that shit all day with the Blood Asp. So if I was trying to balance, that's probably what I would do.
Okay, now
Now I'm gonna look it up.
Now, what the variant I was specifically thinking of when I said the Turkina is one that I just recently was introduced to. The Turkina Z, which somebody in that
It's the Blood Asp A.
Alpha Strike game.
It's the Blood Asp A, and it has 2 heavy large lasers and 2 ERPPCs and an ECM. So that may not be as great against the Direwolf, but it's still not terrible either. When every shot you fire could kill him when you hit him in the head, I feel like that's pretty decent.
Right.
All right, the Turkina Z, you say?
Yes.
Z. IATM 12, IATM 12, IATM 12, IATM 12, light tag, Nova Composite Electronic Warfare System. What the fuck is this shit? Battle value 2, base battle value 3935, almost 4,000 BV just by itself.
Yeah.
And it's
okay. Now this is the Turkina when we were playing that one game. What was it? Thanksgiving with Eric, with a clan trinary versus a clan trinary versus a clan trinary.
Yeah.
In Alpha Strike.
I remember
That was the Turkina that somebody had. That in Alpha Strike at short range, the thing does like 15 damage in Alpha Strike.
So that was the one?
Yes, that was the Turkina that does that in Alpha Strike.
With all those friggin' improved advanced tactical missiles.
Right.
Which house has the best variants of the unseen? That's tough. I'll definitely say God, that depends on what you consider the best. Like, I know what he's asking is, for example, like, do you have a favorite Warhammer? Yes, you do. It's the WHM-60.
Right.
Okay. So that would be your answer, the
Okay.
WHM-60. I'm gonna go ahead and what house? Yeah, well, I'm running through them in my head because I know that some variants of, like, for example, the Marauder have large lasers, and I want to say that's a Lao variant, and I'm not super hot for that. So I'm gonna say House Davian off the top of my head. He wouldn't know. He's not a lore person. He reads precisely 0 fucking lore. Yes. So it's all about the tabletop for him, and that's it. So you're gonna guess Steiner, Recliner.
Okay, sure.
There you go. You happy with that?
All right, that works.
All right. So Jeff, earlier we were talking. What's your Mount Rushmore of assault mechs? And I don't care about variants. I just care about faces. What's the 4?
I picked out specific variants because I thought that was much cooler.
Okay. What are they?
All right. Number 1 in assaults. Oh, look, the Bane 3.
Oh, wake me up. Oh, sorry.
The Turkina Z, as was just previously mentioned. The the Hellstar, the standard version Hellstar, with 4 ERPPCs and the heat sinks to fire them all day long. Okay. And then, of course, the one that Tuck hates, the Tomahawk D.
Oh, I don't hate it. I just think it's ridiculous. It's not that I hate it. It's just, what was the point of making that except for just be like, I just want to make something munchy today. This is Doritos.mech. That's what that is.
Okay. So there you go. For the Mount Rushmore of assault mechs. All right. Bane, Hellstar, Turkina, and Tomahawk.
See, and here I am just thinking like Atlas, Dire Wolf.
I mean, I'm only going to give clan answers because I am clan. Okay, I don't do inner sphere.
You say I am clan and then immediately use a contraction.
Yeah.
So yeah, Atlas for sure, definitely that. Definitely got to have the Dire Wolf on there for sure. Gotta have him. Assault mechs. I think I might be able to get away with the awesome. If I said the awesome, I'm thinking inner sphere, of course. But I mean, I got at least one clanner on there, didn't I? I mean, there you go, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you think that a Stone Rhino counts as like an iconic enough?
Stone Rhinos.
You get that way. You get two inner sphere and
Okay.
2 clan on there, and you can't bitch.
Okay.
Let's see. Bear says Dire Wolf, Kodiak, Atlas, Thunderhawk.
Thunderhawk is good.
Oh geez, I'd love to see you guys do some bat rep videos using lists of nothing but crap mechs. Jaeger mechs, quick draw, sentinel. This sounds fun as shit. The junk heap. Here we go, guys. Can we get into work? AC2, bitch. Fuck him. Blast him too. With what, sir? That small laser. You better get him.
Charger A1A1. 5 small lasers. Yeah.
Oh man, that would be hilarious. Like battle of the crap mechs. Just like do a fucking gauntlet. Just be like, okay, here comes the Jaeger mech, and he's gonna fight up against, I don't know, something else terrible, like a fucking quick draw. There you go. And they gotta fight. And then whoever wins that fight, you get to stick around. And now you have to fight the next guy that comes out, and that's gonna be a sentinel, I guess. And okay, now you guys fight. And whoever wins that one, you stick around, and now you gotta fight the next one. A fucking gauntlet, just do.
Hey, why not?
But oh man, that would be fun as shit. Just nothing but bad thing. And then when I could put that. And here's the thing: I think Sarna. I don't know why they keep saying this or that or the other is a bad mech. Like I don't know, it just bugs me. When they went for the Charger, I was like, oh, that's low hanging fruit. Fuck you. And then, and then they went after the Whitworth. Are you fucking shitting me right now? Come on, y'all. The Whitworth is not a fucking bad mech. I don't care what anybody says. For 40 tons, you get 2 LRM-10s, you get like 3 medium lasers, and jumps 464, and you get some decent 40 fucking tons, you get some decent armor, fire support. It's not supposed to hang around and be like, hey, let me fight this fucking, battle master up here.
40 ton, 464. I have issues.
Yeah, but you have issues because you don't know how to pilot anything that doesn't go, I hit you with axe. I got axe for you. Yeah, of course you have issues. But there's issues you got.
I mean,
but that ain't the extent of them.
I'll sit in the cockpit of a Wolverine all day long. I mean, 464 is just not good enough for a medium mech. You gotta have.
Oh, really? You're talking shit. But the Vindicator's okay.
Probably not.
Listen to this blasphemer. You just talk shit on the Vindicator.
Okay.
PPC, LRM-5, medium laser, small laser, 464, enough armor to ring in the fucking Chinese New Year.
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
That's all I gotta say about that. You talk shit on the Vindicator. Let's see. No joke. Once saw a Jaeger mech fail a piloting skill roll, fall on its back, and blow up because the armor was breached and cooked off the ammo. No enemy fire was involved. Yeah, I can Thing is, the Starna article was about the original Whitworth with the two SRN6 launchers. Well, I mean, that's fine if you're shooting infantry. Yeah, like, what's the matter with the LRMs? Come on, you sit up on a mountain. Who's going to shoot that thing when you got bigger stuff in your face? Well, shoot that. That makes the most sense, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I tend not to think that there are too many quote unquote bad mechs. But speaking of this crazy piloting skill roll, what was the piloting skill roll that you failed that one time when I Highlander burialed you and you just could not bring yourself to play anymore that evening? You don't remember?
No.
It was something along the lines of like you rolled 12 and you passed a consciousness check because you fell over. Like I'd landed on you with the Highlander and you fallen down and you had made your consciousness check, right? Or something to that effect. And then you took damage in your leg, which caused you to roll for critical hits. And then you roll for critical hits, you rolled 12 again. Because you rolled 12 on the consciousness, 12 on the fucking critical hits. And then you're like, guys, I don't want my leg to get blown off. I gotta have somebody burn their last edge point to save me here. And John was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And he burns his last edge point, so you throw the dice for the third fucking time. Yeah. 12. Still blows the leg off the stupid thing. And at that point, you were like, fuck this game, I quit. I was like, well, okay. Who could say I would act any different under those circumstances? But, okay. Let's get back to all this crapola. All right, Jeff. So you already answered what's your favorite mech, right?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, and that's not gonna. So let me pick because they're asking what's your favorite mech as opposed to just miniature. I feel like those are two separate questions. So pick a different mech.
They aren't, but okay.
Pick a different one.
I think that is also behind me because I collect these things. Let's see.
I have no idea what he's about to go get. Cursed by the dice gods, yes. Another thing I'm super excited about in the near future. I said that I would let you guys ask me questions, but I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you knew that this existed? Be honest. This is real.
What?
Battletech.
Oh, Battletech.
It's a real rule book. Look, it's even got, I guess that's a hunchback, but he's carrying a refrigerator on his back. Secret lead code.
It ain't up here.
What is it?
My health star.
Oh, yeah, I have it somewhere else. It's a lunchback. Yeah, I have it somewhere else. I know where it is.
Okay, well,
but I'm not getting up.
Okay, but to answer the question, then, if I'm not, if I have to deviate from the Bane 3, then I go with the Hellstar.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. What do I say to that? We all know that the Thunderbolt is my favorite, so I don't know. I guess that was like one of the very first few miniatures that I ever got to even use was a Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt 2C.
Are you just saying that because it's clan? You're like, I can't possibly pick an inner spear mech and say anything nice about it. So as long as it's a clan variant or has a 2C attached to it, then we're good, Daddy.
Yeah. Hey, Thunderbolt 2C is a pretty decent mech.
Is it?
Yes.
Great. Then you can tell me what it has.
A Streak LRM-15. What's the big gun? An improved the improved heavy large laser.
Okay.
And I know it has like medium lasers, but I think like 3 ER medium lasers. But I know that the big weapons are the Streak LRM-10 and the improved heavy large.
Brian Henry says, thoughts on the Pillager? 100 tons, 2 Gauss rifles, abrasive lasers, enough heat sinks to run cold and jump jets equals nasty. I love the Pillager.
Pillager's good.
I used it to great effect a few times. We had a tournament here in town that I was running for a little while before we realized that it needed a lot of work. But like it was you build, what was it, 6,000 points, Lance? Build a lance for 6,000 points.
Right.
Yeah, and the Pillager was in my lance like that. The Uziel that jumped all over the place. I liked it. Also, Happy New Year from the Bear Cave. All right. So let's see here.
All right. Improved heavy large, 3 ER mediums, improved. Oh, it has 2 improved heavy larges and a streak LR15. Okay, so I was kind of sure about the 3 ER mediums, but it actually has 2 improved heavy larges.
Huh. All right, so I got another message. What was the craziest thing to happen to you on the road? I don't know. I know you weren't, but I was looking at you going, where the hell do I even start?
Well, that? I mean, you want to get into the car issues?
Okay, what's crazier, that or the Salton Sea thing? In your opinion, because you know the story. I'll tell them in a minute. But what's crazier to you?
I guess the Salton Sea. So yeah, okay, go with that one.
Well, I mean, both of them, I feel like I was going to die. So, okay. So the first one, the first thing I could say, that's just one of the craziest thing that's ever happened, is the going to the Salton Sea and having the Salton Sea almost swallow me whole. That was interesting. I was there to explore, and I was there with Drake, who, by the way, is a germaphobe. I mean, I'm talking, this man will wash his hands for like 60 to 80 seconds every time he washes them, to the point where they're like red. It's like it starts here at his wrist and goes right up his hand. It's all red, except for like his wrist down, it's normal color. So he washes his hands. So the point is I get down to this salt flat, and I start going down the hill, right? And it starts to collapse under my feet, but it's only just like a little bit. It's not that much. And I know these things are notorious for doing that, so it didn't really scare me. I was just like, well, whatever. And then I got to the very bottom, and I threw some rocks to make sure that it was safe to go on, and it looked like it was, and the rocks didn't go anywhere. But what I should have known was that the rocks would have bounced.
Right.
If they go up and then they stick in the soil, there's a fucking problem. If they skip across the soil, it's fine. But when they go plop, you're in trouble. Well, I didn't know that. I know that now. I didn't know that then. And I stepped onto this fucking salt flat and just goes, oh, dude, like I was like halfway in this fucking thing in like no time flat, man, up to my waist in raw sewage. And so I pushed down on the ground to get myself out of the hole like that, right? But except the thing is the shelf collapsed under the weight of my fucking arms. Now, if you're not familiar with the Salton Sea, everything out there is crusted with salt. Like, that's just how it is. And this isn't the salt you put on your popcorn. This is the kind of salt that will cut you into ribbons in a hurry. And so my arm had passed through the shelf, and all the salt was going like this, up and down my arm as my arms were going through it. So I pull my arms back out of the muck, and from my fucking elbow all the way up to my fingers, it was covered in raw sewage, okay? Both hands. And I looked at it like this. What the fuck is happening? And in the meantime, I'm kicking my legs, like trying to stay up out of the fucking suck, because otherwise, there's no bottom. You will fall into it if you don't. And the whole time I'm reaching up to Drake, come on, Drake. And he won't fucking touch me because he's a fucking germaphobe. So he reaches down and grabs my shirt. I says, Drake,
that's not right.
That shirt is a cheap wrestling shirt. It's going to rip. It will not support my fat ass if I start going farther down into this sinkhole. I need you to. And anyway, he was no help. I ended up having to, in fairness to him, if he had gone any farther down, he could have endangered himself. So fine. I'll give him the slack there. And I had to free myself, and I was able to pull myself out of the muck. And then we had to go to this gas station, and I had no No pants on. I had to take my pants off. They were ruined. My socks were gone. My shoes are part of Southern California forever. And anywho's, I had to walk in there with just my fucking underwear and a shirt on and be like, so, can I use your bathroom? Haha, the Salton Sea tried to eat me. And fucking, anyway, they let me use their bathroom, no soap. Go up the street, get a pair of pants at the Dollar Tree. Fortunately, there was a Dollar Tree. This was in the middle of nowhere, by the fucking way. So the fact that that even existed is a miracle in and of itself. You get that, get some socks, and then I go wash up at this gas station. We went back and filmed everything that I wanted to have done. So that was the first thing that was like that qualified as the craziest thing.
Favorite movies.
So you basically reenacted the escape scene from the end of the shot. Yeah, darn near, except for going under. Oh God, if I'd had to put my head under that thing, I don't know why I would have shot myself. Oh God, it was the most disgusting smell you ever smelled in your life. It makes you want to retch. Anyway, you're like, it's not fun. So there's that. Or then the other thing was getting stuck out in Tonopah with when the car transmission went out. And we're stuck out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and like nobody was helpful. They're fine if you want to pay them for something, but like other than that, like help you get on your way, fuck you, buddy.
So Google Maps Tonopah, Nevada.
No, don't. And there's nothing there except for the Clown Motel. That's what's there, the Clown Motel. And I ended up there, and I ended up filming a music video there. So those were the two craziest things. And yeah, the whole car issue is insane by itself. But the fact that I was able to come away from that one alive too. Let's see. Favorite tank? Mine is the Poe. Far from the best tank. I love the simplicity and durability for 3039. Yeah, Demolisher, Shrek PPC carrier for sure. Let's see.
Carrier,
SRM carrier, LRM carrier. I love these for just tactical reasons, just to give players fits. Those are neat. Manto, the Nasty Whore, the Manticore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love the Nasty Whore. That's a good one.
I mean, I love the name. I never played the thing, but
yeah, you have.
No. I love the name of the J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh, the J. Edgar.
Hoover.
I've actually played J. Edgars, and we played him out in Yuba City. And the guy that we played out there, his name was Jerry. He'd never seen him before, and he was like, "Oh man, I've found me some new hover tanks." I'm like, "Oh, J. Edgar hover, baby, it's fucking great." So J. Edgar's, God, the thing is so versatile. Like it's got basically whatever you need it to have. Zipping around there, shooting things. Yeah, the J. Edgar's a bomb. I don't care what anybody says. All right. So you basically, yep, we did that. Why wouldn't you let a certain someone play a horde of Savannah Masters any longer? Lol. Okay, there, stir the pot. So the reason why, we used to know this guy, and how do I say this? It's like, have you ever known a person who was like the equivalent of that dog that you just love, but he always comes in and pees your carpet every time he's excited, and the dog doesn't know any better, and you can't do anything about it. So you just have to fucking deal with the fact that the dog pees the carpet every time he gets excited. Well, it was like that. And anyway, he just thought it was the most high fucking hilarious idea to spam Savannah Masters on a table and oh yeah, I'll just look, guys, when I was fucking like 17, that joke was funny. Okay? I'm 40 now. I don't have time for it anymore. If you actually fucking have 25 Savannah Masters, I'll tell you what, you can bring them to the game store, set them up on the board, and I will squish each and every one of them like a bug with my fucking thumb. That's why I just think that people doing that is silly. They're not doing it because they're trying to be serious. They're doing it as a way to annoy you, and to me, that breaks the fourth wall, I guess. What about you? What do you think about that shit?
I'm just not really a tank person, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not much into tanks.
Now, the guy that we played in Yuba actually used some Savannah Masters, and I was okay with it because he actually had them, number one. Number two, he'd gone out of his way to paint them. So yeah, that looks great. And these were actually being used in a tactical manner, with his game that he was playing. He didn't just throw like 30 of them out there. I think he had like 2 or 3 or 4 maybe, but there wasn't too many, and they were just kind of there. And it was nice to actually play against them because I never actually played against a Savannah Master in practice that I can remember. There were some other tanks that I played against, but I mean, I can't ever remember going up against that. So that was kind of cool. Long game like that is fun to joke about, but beyond long and boring in practice. Well, yeah, it gets to me that gag, the spam Savannah Masters gag, tends to get about the same level on my head as the Mackie Dick Laser joke. Like, oh ho ho, the Dick Lasers. Like, why wouldn't you have Dick Lasers? They're in the perfect position to shoot the infantrymen. Yeah, sure, it looks funny, but who cares when the infantry is dead? They ain't laughing now. So, I just feel like that joke. Oh, I run like 40 Savannah Masters. No, you fucking won't. Only 20 of them. So, dead gummit. All right. What do you think the most hated thing you could see somebody do to you would be? Like the most hated thing. Like I can tell you one thing. I mean, a good example is the time when what was it? In Battle Bowl, when Chuck gets you with the Gauss rifle first turn.
Oh yeah, first turn. I take a Gauss rifle to the head.
We're playing the invitational.
Christmas game.
The Christmas game, the invitational, the thing that we just put the video up for, and I explained in the Irby Derby and all that, except this was number 5. So it was Battle Bowl. That was 2018 was the name of it. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, that's correct. So anyway, at that time it was still single elimination. So when you get killed, you're done for the day. And Jeff had picked this Zeus, some souped up version, 3080. I can't remember what it was. I could go through the records and see what you had. But anyway, one of our competitors named Chuck is taking a Jingao and just first fucking turn, Gauss rifle, and all I see out of the corner of my eye is Jeff's record sheet go flying. And I looked, and I was like, what in the hell was that? And he goes, Gauss rifle to the head. And I'm like, oh, he hit you in the head? Yeah. Can we take that back? No. Sorry. And that was the end of it. So you were in a ZEU 9T Zeus.
Right.
And Chuck had the JN-G8A Jingao and managed to blast you clean in the face. Turn one with that fucking Gauss.
And I don't even, firing being simultaneous and all, but I don't even think I was even aimed at Chuck. I couldn't even fire back at him.
No.
I was aimed in a different direction.
Then again, there's the time where you visited this upon, that piece of shit fucking Larry, where you remember you got in turn 1 with like through armor critical, then box cars for the crit,
right.
engine,
yeah,
like killed him turn fucking 1.
Yeah, I did do that.
So something like that, I suppose, would be like the most hated, or like I don't know, like.
I haven't experienced this, but I read stories. I mean, this topic came up in stuff that I was reading. And somebody said they went up to a mech, completely fresh, 10 cannon to the dome, one critical cockpit. The mech is completely fresh, but you hit the cockpit on turn 1 with a 10 cannon.
Well, let's see. Thoughts on the Saladin hover assault tank? Well, you should go back and watch season 3, episode 4, and then you can see how I feel about the Saladin. Because Douglas Parker had a Saladin in that game. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine. It's fast. It's the Saladin is a really fast ass tank, hover tank, I believe it is. And it's got a 20 cannon. It says
a locust speed, so it's 812.
812, yeah. But it's got a 20 cannon on it. Tanks, the gimmick with tanks
right.
is you don't need to add extra heat sinks. It's only have to have enough heat sinks to fire your guns.
Right.
So whatever that is. And yeah, it's just zipping around the board, pointing AC-20s at things. it hit my rifleman's leg, but that was about all the good that it did. And I look at it the same way that I look at the Patton, for example, with the AC-20 on it, and most other things with AC-20s. It's like you give up one thing. If you're going to take the Saladin, you're giving up armor for that speed, right? So I just got to hit it a couple of times. Vehicles come apart worse than mechs, or easier than mechs.
Right.
So I might be scared of it the one time, like when it gets up into real close range. But like after that, you're committed. So I don't feel as bad about it. The Patton or the Rommel, I don't feel bad about those either. And in the Black Widow Company game, they tried to use the Rommel on me, and I just said, fuck that, I don't care. And broke the morale and made them all retreat anyway. So AC-20s in general don't freak me out. What about you?
Yeah,
AC-20s in general.
Their range. I mean, I suppose it's a fun weapon if you get it to hit, but the range, it requires you to get way too close than what I like. I mean, go with a Gauss. I mean, if you're gonna have a big hitting weapon, give up the 5 points for the range. I mean, I think a Gauss is superior to an AC-20.
That Grey Death Legion versus Black Widow game was great. Thank you. You know what I'd really like to do with that, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, is I would like to take it and George Lucas it, for lack of a better term. And I would take the bat rep, right? And I would cut out anybody's face that I didn't want to be in that bat rep. And then after that, what I would do is I'd keep all the music and I would keep all the narration the exact same. Wouldn't change any of that. And I wouldn't change the pacing at all. But what I would upgrade,
narration like that.
no, that's not what I mean, the pacing. And what I would change is I would change the sound effects. Number one, I have, here's some fun news. I have a whole new suite of weapon and onboard computer sound effects now that I didn't have just a little while ago. So on the next video, Pause versus Claws, we're going to have all these new sound effects. So I would be able to upgrade all the different sound effects. And you know what we're doing now with the wireframe graphics on the screen to show you what somebody's damage profile looks like.
Oh, yeah.
I could do that. I could throw that on there and, fix a couple of other mistakes that I missed the first time and get it changed with all the new abilities that we have. But I would do just the battle report. I wouldn't do any of that other stuff. Just that. And therefore that is why, because normally I try not to George Lucas my own shit. I try not to go back and just redo every fucking thing every other 5 years just cause. But that one I was like, I can change just the one aspect of it, and I feel like it'll still be all right. So what do you think? Do you think I should leave it as it is, or do you think I should go back and polish it up with all the new shit?
I'd put the new shit in.
I wonder if anybody would even watch it the second go around with all the new stuff in it. What do you think?
I would.
I think it'd be a lot of fun to do. Maybe that's something I can do in between seasons. That's another thing is in between the seasons, I'm going to go back through the Vega campaign stuff, and I'm going to clean up a lot of it, because there were some sprites that I had access to then that I have access to better ones now that are more cleaner and more crisp and don't look like they were just like really low res 1990 graphics. They look like 1990 graphics, but they're also crisp and don't look like fucking oatmeal. And so I was like, okay, well, I can fix that. And so I'm going to go back through all the Vega campaign videos that are like that, and I'm going to fix them with all the different sprites that I have now. But that's after this zone is complete, I think, or maybe the next one. After I get some more work done on it. And if you didn't know, that's the thing we're doing right now is on Patreon, we have this thing called the Vega campaign, and we're using old Wing Commander sprites from the very first ever Wing Commander game, but we repurposed them and we're using them to tell a Battletech story. And each video is a mission. So that's what missions these guys got to go play. And whether they do well or not, you get to find out in the aftermath videos. But you try to see if you can duplicate the player's success, or if you still need a little bit more practice, or maybe you can turn it around where the players couldn't do that, so maybe your tactics are better than theirs. But it's kind of a neat thing, and all of that stuff is spelled out there for you. So that's only $10 a month if you get it on the Patreon. Plus, we got all kinds of other cool stuff. That's just one thing. Jeff, do you like the Vega campaign? This time, this is the new year. This is should all acquaintance be forgot? This is you tell me the truth.
I like being a part of it. Yeah, I mean,
maybe even sprites from the Crescent Hawks video games as well. Yes, I use those as well. They are actually in the series. It's just that they are part of the briefings, and sometimes they are part of other things. But yes, I have actually used the Crescent Hawk sprites, just not animated. They were still pictures. So, but anyway, you like it?
Yes, I'm all in on the campaign,
because we're doing the two-parter next, where you guys have to blow up the shield generator. Is coming up next. But that shield generator powers the dome for the big radio tower you guys are trying to go. So this end of this zone in this campaign is 2 missions, and you have to go through one and succeed to even be able to succeed at the other one, because your guys are already going that way. They're just waiting for Duchess and Duke and the rest of the others to, pop the cap off for them, for lack of a better term, and then you guys will go in there and take the radio tower from the other side. So it's also kind of a neat campaign to write, because I get to use a lot of interesting tactics, and I get to use a lot of different and interesting lingo that I don't normally get to use, like the military style talking. And I go through and I try to research what these characters would sound like, because everybody gets their own character. In Wing Commander, it was just you get one character and that's you, and then everybody else is an NPC. But in this game, all the NPCs are the characters, and each of them is their own. So somebody has Boss Man, for example, and somebody has Rogue, or not Rogue. What the heck is his name? I can't remember his name now. But somebody else has Angel, and they're on, so on and so forth. And so I'm still looking for someone to fill a couple of more spots.
I think we had some interest from other people that wanted to join.
Yeah.
If they show.
But also, the people who are signed up on the Patreon sometimes find their names in things like that. So if you watch the very first episode of season 3, some names got put in there. The pirate story. So okay, let's go back to another message. Private message is, what is your favorite episode that you have done? So what do you think my favorite episode, or your favorite episode, is out of all the ones? And you can't pick Tex.
Well, but I was.
I know that's what you were going to pick, because that's what everybody fucking picks. I'm not stupid. You can't pick Tex. You got to pick anything else, because that's the duh. So we'll just take that out, and you pick something other than that. We all know that's the best.
Well, okay, it'll be the one that you're about ready to do. It's not actually on the show yet, but will be, is Paws versus Claws. I mean, that game that I was just the judge in it, not a player.
Yeah.
I had the most fun. I mean, that was just a very exciting game. The board, which I did build the board for that game, I thought I created an excellent board for the game, and the game was just superb.
Well, I had probably one of the best times ever playing that game. You know what? I think that game was really good in that there was a lot of emotion.
Yes.
But not negative emotion.
Right.
Riding high.
Right.
It was like, it was just we were just chilling, like no hard feelings. We're just playing, but each of us is playing like as hard as they can fucking go, Like nobody's holding anything back. And because you know how sometimes you play your friends and you're like, I could do that, but that would be a dick move. But like in this case, you're like, nah, dude, like except for don't shoot them in the back, or no physicals and things like that. It was, you're going hard. So everybody is just like throwing the best thing they got, and it's all down to the wire. It could go either way, and everybody is just waiting for that one shot that will turn the tide to go their direction. And that's what I think made that a good game. And it was just, and then when you have those shots happen and you have that giant release, like of all of that emotion, that pent up, you're waiting for things to go one way or the other here. And when they finally do one of those two things, you're just like, and I think that there was a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Paws versus Claws was a great game. I just hope that I can make it look as good when it's on here as it was when we played it. So
Hopefully.
And I just thought that was the coolest fucking name. I don't care what anybody says. Paws versus Claws. All right, so my favorite episode, if I had to pick one, and I can't say Tex. Yeah, that's tough. I really liked Band on the Run. I really enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed Time Heist. Time Heist is probably one of my favorites that I've done recently. Okay. I think that probably my most favorite episode was the most recent Halloween that we did.
That was fun.
Where we had all the slashers.
Right.
I feel like all the Halloween games have kind of stepped things up a bit each time, or have done something sillier or more ridiculous every single time. And that one was just kind of like more in the same tradition of just putting everything on top of its head there and throwing down weird shit left and right.
That was fun to play.
A lot of the comments centered around it being at the very least entertaining. Okay, well, fine. I try not to let these things go to my head, but yeah, that was fun to watch for me, especially to do the whole Stranger Things.
Oh yeah,
and
that was good. That was a good tie-in.
Here's a fun production story from that. The reason why the Stranger Things parody is done in a docudrama style is because when we shot it, there was some kind of cord loose from the camera. But it was only ever so fucking loose, from a plug. And that caused us to not record any sound from that night. And we must have filmed, I want to say, for like 2 hours we filmed. And we even had like a pizza party and all that shit, right? And I get the footage all into the box and fucking nothing, like no sound. I was so fucking pissed. I was mad, y'all. Because I was like, there's no way I can't do anything with this. I can't dub it. I can't, no. And Anthony came to me with that idea. He said, why don't you try this? And I says, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I will give it a shot. And it turned out to be something that worked out really well for what it was. So the fact is, and it was the same exact thing for when we did that sketch for, what was it, season 3, episode 4, Made You Look, when we went and hunted down the Battletech items.
I wasn't a part of it.
You weren't there, but you've seen it.
Okay.
And that was the same thing, no sound. Like, no, I did interviews and I did all kinds of cool shit, and like, you'll never be able to see it because there's no fucking sound. And I don't know, it was like, the first time the cord wasn't plugged in all the way on the top. The second time it wasn't plugged in all the way on the bottom. And I'm just like, are you fucking shitting me right now? And so that's why I've had to do those last 2 sketches in that style, because there was no goddamn sound to fucking any of them. It fucking pissed me off. So, all right, let's see. We've been going at this about an hour. It's like 10:30. What do we got here? The Halloween episodes were fun. Spooky Periphery ghost stories are such a great part of the Oh, God. I just feel like, who else does this kind of stuff? You don't see that kind of thing. There's a couple of Halloween adventure packs out there, but what do you got?
Didn't a certain not to be named individuals try to copy your Halloween game?
Oh yeah, they love to steal my ideas. There was that's a fun story. I guess I'll tell that. There was a convention here in town, and I want to say it was Tokyo. Okay.
Convention.
Well, okay. You can shit on them if you want. I mean, I understand what they're going for, so I'm not going to talk shit when it comes to you're trying to put on a show. Okay, I'm in the entertainment business. If you're trying to do that, I'm going to okay. But they set up a game. I'm pretty sure it was Tokyo OK, which is like the biggest anime con here in the town. So that's not one of those typical one-day vendor swap meets that you see pop up over town overnight.
I thought this was that thing that happened over at that game store that
No,
also isn't to be named.
no.
Oh, okay.
This was something else.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, they set up a game, right? And started promoting it to all the different tabletop groups, which, duh, I'm fucking in. And so if you're going to hide it from me, you're doing a bad job of it. And it was like, Zombie Max! Come play at Tokyo OK Zombie Max! An idea we totally came up with all by ourselves with absolutely no help. Ding! TM. Sure. I'll take it as a compliment, darling. Hashtag petty as fuck. But yeah, that my ideas tend to end up out there. I don't mind if somebody like wants to use them. Do what you do with it. But it's the using it and putting it over like you're the one who came up with it.
Right.
That bothers me. And I'm sure that I'm not the only person to ever think of doing Zombie Max. I mean, I'm not dumb. I can't be the only guy. But
you were first in the local scene.
Well, that is true, and I've never seen a Battletech video on YouTube either focusing on Zombie Max. So there is also that. So I mean, God only knows. And personally, and I've been saying this for a while, like I would have made the switch to go over to Top Deck Games like a long time before recently, but it was just certain things were keeping us from doing that. And now that those issues are no longer present, I feel like, well, I like the atmosphere at Top Deck more anyway, just because it's fucking quiet.
Right. Yeah.
God damn. It's like I can't do the room full of screaming ass fucking nerds over whatever it is. I'm not judging, whatever it is, but Jesus Christ, it's too much. And then when I cuss, it's like, oh, can you keep your voice down? No, motherfucker. God damn. Why don't you tell this person over here who just, I don't know, shoved Pikachu's tail down fucking some other guy's throat? Like, why don't you tell him to fucking be quiet? Yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
Smash Brothers is what that was.
And for me, with PTSD, I'm sitting there playing Battletech with you guys, and then all of a sudden, just uproarious from across the room. It'll fucking make you jump right out of your skin. God damn it. It was all I had to keep my head in control. That's all I got. But anyway, we've had a good time. We've been here about an hour. I think it's time to pack it up and go get crunk for some New Year's Day stuff.
I had a Mount Rushmore for heavies, too.
Oh, you got a Mount Rushmore for heavies? Yeah. If you got a Mount Rushmore for heavies, then fucking throw it. Don't give me something stupid.
Yeah. Mount Rushmore, heavy edition. Sphinx 3. Timberwolf Delta. 2 ERPPCs, 2 Streak 6s forward, 2 Streak 6s rear. The PPCs are rotatable. So basically, you have 2 PPCs and 2 Streak 6s, 360 firing arm. I love that thing. The NovaCat Alpha. Oh, yeah, that thing's crazy. 4 larges, and the heat sinks to fire them all day long. Oh, yeah. And a targeting computer. And then the last one is the Carhu G. I don't even know what any of these are, most of them. So I'm just going to sign off here so I don't have to respond to it, folks. It's been fun. Check us out, patreon.com/battlebound. Hit us up. We're going to have some cool stuff coming at you very shortly out here in the Space Lanes. Have a happy and safe New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, all that stuff. Don't get too crunk. Don't wake up with a hangover. It doesn't feel good. Ask me how I know. All right, good night.